Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's 27 Minutes right here on WJTS UPN 27. Frick joined a tour of how men harvest power at the Francis Linduaer Farms in Ferdinand. She takes a look at some of the old time machines and how they were run.
Yeah, well, we're glad you could come here. We don't just do this every day, you know.
Sometimes they work.
Some consider farming hard work, and farmers never seem to take a break, but annually Francis Linduaer, with the help of some farming friends, takes a break to teach elementary students, and even on occasion German exchange students, how to harvest power for farm use.
We have a group of 10 girls and one teacher from Seligenthal School in Landshut, Germany.
Well, let's, if we want to, we'll do it just the same way as we do.
Students from Nancy Hanks Elementary and those visiting Marion Heights take in visual demonstrations and history lessons on inventions that were intended to cut down some of the hard work a farmer had to do.
Do it yourself. It was probably considered kind of modern at that time. Yeah, you give you your exercise and all in one.
Not able to sell these for exercise.
Yeah. Well, I call it kind of the beginning of power. We show them from the beginning of time of how they planted corn with a hand corn planter, and then with a...
Well, that would take you all day to go sow a field of corn, though.
Yeah. Some old timer told me once that...
Lesson number 1, corn planting made easy.
This here, a piece of equipment here is just about the same. The only thing it's become more modern, I guess, because well, it had a depth control on that you could set it, how far, how deep you want to plant, and then it took only one hand to operate it.
Do you remember doing it like that?
No.
That was before your time.
That was before my time, yeah.
The one with both hands was 1888?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what did you say the second one was?
Well,
Lesson number 2, add a little elbow grease or get the kids and wife involved in the corn and grain movement.
you know, they had the kind that you'd then round ones where you'd stomp up and down.
Or if you're a dairy farmer, teach them to steer the butter churn wheel.
You'd open it up, you know, and put your cream in here, and whenever you're done, while you'd open up the stopper and you'd drain off the buttermilk, you know, and then you'd have your butter, probably about a gallon or so, I would say.
Lesson number 3, borrow a neighbor's horse to move that wheel and grind that corn.
And we have Mr. Horsfooter with his horse to grind feed, with a tub grinder with a horse. Yeah, 22. Whoa.
How long is the horse?
And this is the same butter churn like that there. The only thing it's powered by.
Lesson number 4, borrow some technology from a neighboring, or rather distant state.
Come lad, come lad. You show these people how to run this machine, come.
This is awesome.
He's just our farm dog here, but then he's taken on this job to make us our butter.
Biscuits and gravy, Lap. Do your job.
Lap here, he runs this dog thread mill, and kids seem to like it, and it's not a toy. It was used up in the Northeast in Maine, and that's where it was manufactured, and that's where we bought it from. And
Lesson number 5, add some fuel and gears to make a very popular gas engine to pump water and grind feed.
24 kit and steam engines. plus about 180 thrash machines and sawmills. I don't know.
Lesson number 6 borrows some technology developed by old-timers to do the farm thrashing.
It's number 176. It's the second oldest one that we know of, and this is the there's a 154 yet that would be older than this, but
Lesson number 7, throw in even more gears and some shiny gadgets and see real steam power in motion.
And it had a high long boiler like a train does, and it was more or less a plow engine, more so than the kitten was because it has heavier gearing. We've done a lot of extra things to it to make it look more like a train. We've put a catwalk on and a train generator and train lights and a train whistle and a train bell. And
Lesson number 8, a power brake. What are you passing out?
It's a booklet on the amount of calcium they should have in their diet and up to certain ages.
Oh, okay. Yes, time to enjoy the treats harvested from that dairy farming. Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
Cut that death rate right down. You can work to eliminate this. You can work to eliminate this. And you can work to eliminate this. So for 7 or 8 years, we've been roaming around the country doing it. We brought the death rate down, you kids did, from 6,000 down to less than 2. Incredible, isn't it? In your age bracket, you're the safest group of kids driving cars right now on the highway. But you know what I've seen as I crisscross the country? I've seen complacency, and I've been dying to get back at you guys and girls because I've watched a group of kids that haven't really listened. It's getting me irritated. And I mean, I'm really getting upset. I've watched that.
Hello again. This is John Shorgan, the staff of the Indiana House of Representatives, and we're back with another update on the 1999 session of the Indiana General Assembly. We're coming to you today on a committee day from the meeting room of the House Ways and Means Committee where the budget process starts, and joining us once again is our good friend Denny Oxley from Milltown in the 73rd House District. Denny, how are you today?
Doing fine, John. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. This is one of those weeks where probably the real highlight of activity came in the Senate rather than the House. After months of wondering, the Senate finally came down with their budget proposals.
Right.
And it's the final approval is pending, but it's expected to come. And I'm sure you have a number of strong feelings about what the Senate views as their priorities of the budget. So, fire away.
Well, thank you. This is just a step in the process. The budget originates in the House of Representatives. Right. We send our version to the Senate, and then it's their duty, their responsibility to essentially fine-tune that, or in this case, totally strip our budget and come up with their own plan, because that's exactly what they did, and they have done that. They have not voted on it yet.
Right.
But as you said, they will be very, very soon. Their budget differs tremendously from the one that we prepared. Therefore, I've got some very strong reservations about some of the things that they have done in their budget. Where do I start?
Why don't we start with one of the benefits of the House budget was the amount of funding that came. I think it's an average of 5% statewide with a minimum guarantee of 3% for school corporations. Their view of education funding is a little different.
Right. We had a guaranteed minimum of 3%. However, in their budget, they are proposing $90 million less for education than what we propose. A lot of school corporations are receiving no new funding for education. Many are receiving less funding than what they received in past years. I don't think that's the commitment or lack thereof that we need to be making to our children. education has to be a top priority in this state. We've talked about that at length in the past. You know, these are the kids that we're depending on. And what type of message are we sending if we're going to be cutting funding for education by that substantial of an amount? That's something that I definitely won't support. They've taken away funding for safe schools. And you know, with all the things that we've seen in surrounding states in the last couple of years with the shootings and things like that, you know, we don't want something like that happening in Indiana. We want to try to do everything that we can to protect against that. So I definitely don't agree with that. They've taken away the proposal that we had for textbook relief as far as the rebate for every student getting $50. They've taken that away. That amounted to a tax break for every family with school-aged children. So I'm not very supportive of that either.
When you talk about tax relief, you're probably going to have to look a long ways to find any in this budget, particularly in the area of property taxes. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is one of the things you identified as a benefit for the House budget was what it did in welfare.
Well, one of the interesting or ironic things about the budget that the Senate Republicans have proposed is that we've heard a lot of talk over the last year and a half about property tax relief. And addressing property taxes and making it a more fair system, bringing them down. Well, the surprising thing is they provided none of that in their budget. In ours, we removed welfare permanently from property tax rolls. We removed that from the county level to the state level. A substantial savings to every county in the state of Indiana. Why the Senate chose not to even address it is beyond me, because it is a very important issue, one that's received a lot of debate, but they chose not to address it.
Particularly during the election last year.
Yes, and they made that one of the primary components of their platform throughout the election, that they were going to be the party that did something with property taxes, and now they're doing nothing. So that's sort of stymies me a bit.
Welcome back. Local artists will be exhibiting their artwork at the Krempp Gallery beginning this evening with a reception until 9 o'clock. Tony Frick checked out the exhibit.
Christine? Yes. Okay to bring stuff in? Oh, right now, yeah.
For local artists who gather as the Du Bois County Art Guild, their annual art exhibit at the Krempp Gallery is more than an opportunity for a ribbon or a trophy. It is an opportunity to display their love for art and their enjoyment of being part of creating it. Visitors will be able to travel into fields of grain floor gardens, oceans, woods, or catch a glimpse of a mystery house.
There was a murder in that house.
Prior to exhibit doors opening, however, one would find members trading in brushes to type out titles, not for novels, but to identify the work of their members.
We have a big variety of people. Anybody that's interested in art can join. We have some teachers. We have a lot of retired people. And some people it's just a hobby for.
What it is like around and the price and everything. You can listen.
Du Bois County Art Guild President Christine Harris noted that sharing their love and appreciation of art while working on their own art pieces was how the group got started.
The Du Bois County Art Guild has been together since 1968. A group of artists from Du Bois County got together and they decided to meet in the German American Bank basement. And they just got together to share painting ideas. They painted together, and then they decided to put together the art show. And they voted on a president. That was Lillian Doan.
The Guild now meets the first Thursday of the month on Vincennes University's Jasper campus. Although their 2-hour monthly meeting block is not spent in painting sessions, as in the Guild's beginnings, they do more than discuss the next annual art exhibit.
We do more now. During our meetings, we will get somebody to come in and demonstrate and explain their art techniques. We've had area artists, and we'll get artists from other places. Like this fall, we're going to try to get Larry Miller. He's a watercolor pen and ink artist, and hopefully he'll give a workshop this fall.
Oh, Nancy went on that tour too, actually. Oh,
This year's judge, Janice Green, was honored at being asked to do the awarding, but the real joy she gets from judging the show really comes from her own love of art.
I enjoy art. I guess I was born with it. It's something that came natural to me from a very young age. I was interested in creating things. I took art through high school and went on to do graduate study at the University of Evansville in printmaking. I like to see the different art in the different areas. It's always interesting to see art shows. It's just like going to any other art show, except that you're going to be judging it.
Well, that's nice we've got a stack of them, so if some of your members want to have one.
The exhibit is even listed in Arts Indiana. Entries are generally divided into 5 fine art categories.
Right after Indianapolis. The area right there. Oh, okay.
All work must be original, but not previously exhibited at the gallery. The Art Guild show judge selects works for first, second, third, and honorary mention in each category.
Well, when I'm judging, I of course look for the basics of good design. Presentation is important. The artwork has to say something to me.
The way the artist framed and presented the work, as well as the balance of design, keeps her eyes open for award selections.
Look for things that are different, good balance, the way that certain things are placed on the page, how it carries your eye around the picture or takes you into the picture.
The judge is also challenged to award a $300 art scholarship to students majoring or minoring in any art-related field. Art Judge Janice Green sees value in artists coming together and sharing their love of art.
If you don't have a group like that, you become isolated, and it helps to have other people to talk to. I think it helps you develop in your art, and also it keeps you in touch with what's going on, not only in your community, but other communities and other art shows.
To discover what their love of art inspired them to create for sharing in this year's Du Bois County Art Guild exhibit, and who received the awards, just stop by the Krempp Gallery from April 8th to April 29th. Tony Frick, TV 27 News.
It's now time for today's Homeowner, brought to you by Krempp Lumber Company in Jasper.
Now, if you have a room in your house that has paneling, you may want to change it up a little bit, maybe just to brighten it up. A lot of people like to just paint the paneling. You still end up with the grooves, but it changes the look and the feel of the room considerably. But if you want to take it a step further, you may want to fill in those grooves with joint compound, very similar to the same type of material that you use in finishing sheetrock. All you do is to mix it up real well, use a 6-inch knife, and apply plenty of it to fill up those grooves. Then slick it out real well, and then come back with a 100 grit sandpaper like this and sand it off. Now, if you're wanting to install wallpaper on the wall after you've gotten it to this point, you do need to sand it well and then apply a sizing, wallpaper sizing, that allows you to install the paper and it'll hold up real well. And if you want to change it out a little bit later, it makes it very easy to pull it off the wall and apply some more wallpaper. Now, if you're wanting to paint the wall, simply prime it, put 2 coats of paint on it, and it's a completed project.
We will have sports on 27 Minutes right after this. It's official. Representatives from Gus Macker officially announced the return of the popular 3-on-3 basketball tournament in Washington on May 15th and 16th. Last year, over 300 teams with 1,200 players and nearly 25,000 spectators filtered throughout downtown Washington. Mike Fuller, a representative from Gus Macker, and the rest of the Gus Macker Roadshow made stops in Washington and Montgomery earlier this week to speak with area students about sportsmanship. Fuller and the Macker Man spoke with kids from Washington Catholic and Bar Eve.
We at Gus Macker are going throughout the United States to all of our tournament cities, and we are passing on the word of good sportsmanship. Today we're at Bar Eve's school in Washington, Indiana, and we are talking about sportsmanship. We have grades K through 6. We come in and put on an assembly about how to be a good sport in not just basketball or any type of sport, but in life in general. And we are trying to get the message out to everybody because Gus Macker, we have a motto at Gus Macker that good sports are winners at Gus Macker, and we want to keep preaching that out to everybody that plays in our tournaments so that we can still make it a wholesome family event.
The third Gus Macker tournament in Washington will be held on Main Street May 15th and 16th. In addition to the 3-on-3 tournament, this year's event will feature a slam dunk contest with the best dunker to win $1,000. Applications will be available next week at Guston Sports in Jasper, here at WJTS UPN 27, and at the WBDC radio studios in Huntingburg. Entry deadline is April 30th. High school baseball, the name of the game. The Jasper team off to a 2-0 start on the young season. On Monday night, the Wildcats opened the season with the win over Bedford North Lawrence at Rookser Field. The next night, they went on the road and pounded Bloomington South at Winslow Park. Jasper's Phil Rue and Bedford North Lawrence's Daniel Underwood hooked up in an early season pitcher's duel at Rookser Field to start the season. Rue and his Wildcats came out on top 1-0. Jasper scored the lone run of the game in the third inning after Jimmy Corbin and Scott Braun singled. Matt Kiefer grounded to shortstop. Nathan McLean tried to cut Braun down at the plate, but his throw sailed high over the catcher's head. Jasper only had 5 hits off Underwood, all singles. On the other hand, though, Rue, the senior left-hander, was sharp. He fanned 10 and throwing a complete game 2-hitter. After scoring only 1 run in a 1-0 win over Bedford North Lawrence, the Jasper Bats came alive as the Cats ripped Bloomington South 15-2 in 5 innings at Winslow Park in Bloomington. The Wildcats scored in every inning. They get 2 in the first as Joe Kress and Scott Braun had hits. They tally 2 more in the second as sophomore shortstop Ross Sheeter homered deep to left field in his first varsity at bat, with Phil Schwank, who doubled earlier, aboard. Jasper gets 3 more in the third as Phil Schwank drives in a run with a single, and Alex Boner plates a run with a ground out to third base. Jasper explodes for a 5 spot in the fourth as they send 10 guys to the plate. The big blow in the inning was a Jimmy Corbin 2 RBI triple to left center field that scored Jared Hemsel and Joe Kress. Later in that frame, Matt Kiefer homered deep to right field, a 2-run blast. Jasper added 3 more in the fifth as Reggie Hayes came off the bench to drive in 2 with a single to left field. For the second straight night, Jasper got solid pitching. Scott Braun threw a 3-hitter. He gave up a double, a 2-run homer, and an infield single. Jasper is now 2-0 on the season. Terry Gilbert and the Wildcats will entertain Evansville Memorial tomorrow afternoon at Rookser Field. You can see this game Sunday afternoon at 1 right here on UPN 27 in conjunction with tomorrow's game with Memorial. The Jasper Batgirls will be selling homemade chicken noodle soup by the gallon at Rookser Field. This has been 27 minutes for this week here on UPN 27. I'm Kurt Gutgsell. Have a great weekend.